Of course, when this all came out, I was like, okay, but how is the right going to spin this? Like, I knew this is the party that loves family values and families, and they want everyone to have kids, and they want a nuclear family, and they want a strong family, supposedly, right? But they have to have some kind of retort to this, because here's Biden saying he's going to help support families. And so two people I wanted to point out to. One is the author of the book that turned into movie, J.D. Vance.
Oh, yes.
Who, the movie is Hillbilly Elegy. Pretty mediocre.
Yeah, the book also bad.
Also bad, and he had a whole sort of hillbilly thread about universal childcare. He tweeted, "Universal childcare is a massive subsidy to the lifestyle preferences of the affluent over the preferences of the middle and working class." And let's see, but is it a preference? Or is it more of a forced decision that you have to stay home and look after your children?
Right,
or that you have to leave your child with a neighbor, or you have to get your mother to look after your child, or your father to look after a child? What he's basically saying here, and he like had this whole like statistics around like how families with two incomes often have childcare. It's like, yeah, no shit, because there's nobody else. Yeah. So, like, you know what I mean? And that, like, people who are poorer don't have childcare.
Yeah, it's like, we know. That's what we're trying to remedy.
Can't afford it. That's the whole point. It's not discriminatory against those people.
Yeah.
It's because they currently cannot afford early childcare.
I love that his idea of like, you know, being like, you know, the working class, they don't take care of their kids, you know, because it's part of their lifestyle not to. It's part of their culture. It's like, no, it's are you kidding me? They can't get universal childcare. So they either have to quit their job or they have to fucking hope that the kid doesn't, you know, go around the house eating lead while it's alone.
Exactly. And this one, there was followed up by universal daycare is class war against normal people?
Literally, I could not even parse that one. I've been trying for a while to parse what any of those words mean. Universal daycare is what was
class
it?
War.
Class warfare against normal people. Who I don't know who he thinks normal people is. I'm not sure what class he thinks normal people is. And universal daycare specifically being that class war, like. It's just mind blown there.
I mean, look, one day in our socialist utopia in daycare, we will be already learning just, you know, how to, you know, smash the state at a young age.
Right.
And that might be class war at some point.
That's true. Maybe that's what he thinks.
Against the normies.
Yeah, yeah.
I.e. the rich. But that's not what's going on here. Another tweet, Senator, let's not forget, Senator Marsha Blackburn. Writes, you know who else liked universal daycare? And links to a New York Times article that has a headline, in the Soviet Union, daycare is the norm in 1974.
God, I love it. I love pulling out Cold War shit to be like, therefore, we need to make sure that poor people leave their kids on the street to fend for themselves. Like,
it's a socialist plot. I mean, you knew it was going to be a socialist plot. I want the other thing that I think someone else pointed out was that actually in World War II, there was an expanded welfare state and there was money to families to I think mothers specifically, some sort of program that included things like being able to like deliver your groceries or like have your groceries ready if you're a mom and you wanted them.
Yeah.
And it's like because there were working moms during World War II more so. And so like there was an acknowledgement that the war effort necessitated women to be in the workforce, but they were also having kids. And then so they needed some support from the state. Yeah. And that vastly helped them. Congress like ended the program, but it's not like it's never been heard of in this country. Yeah. And interestingly, and this sort of leads me into the next clip, also Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee, it allowed women to both be in the workforce, but then also have more assistance with their child rearing, in effect, more freedom.
There's literally no rational explanation for being against universal child care. There's none.
Unless you don't like that women have freedom. And let me just play this Blackburn clip because it's pretty great. She calls the American Families Plan the anti-families plan.
Plus, what this would do is incentivize women to rely on the federal government to organize their lives. It takes away from them the ability to organize their family life as they would like to organize it.
I mean, they're flailing here to come up with a reason. None of that, again, makes sense. They can't organize their life around desperately seeking someone to take care of their kid.
Yeah.
Like, is that what she's talking about?
See, when you give freedom, you take away the lack of freedom, the choice to not be free.
Exactly.
See, and like, you don't want to take away the choice to not be free, because some women don't want to be free, and some women don't deserve to be free.
We're not thinking about the grandmas who have been taking care of little kids while mama goes out to work. And grandma's not what? Grandma can't see a kid no more? Now you tell me grandma can't see a kid no more.
It does feel like she was like, she definitely has a granddaughter who does, and a daughter or a son who do not want to like leave their kid with her, because they're like, no, mom's gonna red pill little Bobby or whatever. Like,
it's I mean, honestly, Marsha Blackburn really is mad about the fact that she can't red pill her grandkids anymore. And she's just like, they're going to put them in a universal daycare. I ain't going to get to see them. Tell them about Q. Someone's got to tell them about the drops. These kids ain't learning about the drops in school. They're learning about the drops at Marsha Blackburn's house.
We've talked about this on Newsbroke before, but I fundamentally hate the way that the right spins the state and government as somehow being that women are reliant on the state and the government, and that freedom from the government is somehow actual freedom, when in effect, a lot of right wingers are only dependent on their husbands and their fathers or their families for money, so they don't have to pay for any of it. Obviously not even paying attention to the fact that women are often stuck in abusive situations because they only can rely on their partners, the person that they're with, or, and so it's like, and not seeing the government as like an elected body that is far more accountable than whether or not you had an alcoholic, husband or a piece of shit or a rich dad. Like, so anyway, you scratch the surface behind these fake feminists, and that's all you find. And it just bothers me to no end. And they consistently, I mean, the right-wing women, young women especially, are so lost sometimes when it comes to this. And they've been so poison-pilled to the idea that, I don't want to be dependent on the government. It's like, no, that's not what this is. It's the opposite of that. It's actually more freedom. Anyway, we gotta.
You could choose to raise your own kid. It's not mandatory child care.
No.
And honestly, I'm surprised.
The universal pre-K is not mandatory. It's universal, so you can opt into it. They're not going to obligate you to go to it, nor is anyone going to obligate you to go to, community college.
I think it's pretty clear that they right now are flailing to find the message against it. Like, they haven't figured it out yet, because all of these are the weirdest excuses for hating it, and they make no sense logically. I think give it a week, and then they'll say, oh, universal child care is code for Marxist day camp for kids. And then they'll start saying that, and then fucking, it'll be fine.
Have you become a patron yet? Patreon.com/Bitchuation is where you can directly support this show and help me make it sustainable so that I can do more of what I do best, doing this.